Hi Mermaid Junkies, how are you? If you read my blog post, you know that I'm doing a video today about the 12 treasure trove tips to inspire you along your awakening. And I think on my blog post I titled the post The Ebbs and Flows of an Awakened Life. And the reason that I wanted to talk about these 12 different little tips is because I think that if you're along on your transformational tale or your, spiritual awakening, there's ebbs and flows of it while you're going through it. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple of those little particulars so that you would know you're not alone in this and that we're all together as a shoal family, and maybe it will help comfy you a little bit in the process while you're going through this in your journey. So let's dive in. The first one is going to be, number one is you really no longer have a desire to watch that much television. Now listen, I'm a girl that my ex-husband was in television. So television, I think at one time I remember counting, we had 13 TVs in our home. Like we had plasmas on every wall in the house, even the bathrooms, utility room, everything. And so TV was a big part of our life. I let my children watch TV a lot, and I watched TV a lot. I was like a TV junkie. And so, but on my transformational tale, I realized that I never wanted to really watch TV anymore. Now, I do have a particular movies that I really, really love, and I do have a couple of TV series that really, really enthrall me, and I really, really enjoy them. And so, but there's only a few, I think, for the year, for every year for the seasons, on television. And so, but for the most part, I kind of stay near the classics, like my beautiful, lovely old Victorian movies and period dramas. I really love those type of movies. So, I think that that's one thing. So don't think that you're odd if you've started to realize like, oh, I want to duck and hide from the television, or oh, like you go to a family event or something and the television is blasting in every room and they're watching political stuff and everything. I'm just like, oh, duck, hide, swim away, because the TV puts a lot of negative energy into our thought processes, right? What better way to control massive amounts of people than to put a little box in their house and get them to listen to it all day, every day, and you become transformed through the television. You know what I mean? So I stopped really watching TV. I'll watch it a little bit, during the week and stuff, but not too much. I would rather do other things like get out in nature and stuff. Okay, number two is that I really am very particular about the kind of music that I listen to. Now, listen, I'm down for all kinds of music because I got to be honest with you, I'm a very music-oriented person. Like, music is a huge part of my life. It's a huge part of Jeffrey's life. That's what I've always loved about him being my soulmate and twin flame, is that we love music. There will be some nights, like on a Friday or something, like we'll sit and put Elvis on our YouTube channel and just sing for hours, like just because it's fun. I love it. Music like heals the soul kind of, but you have to also, I think, be particular about the kind of music you listen to. Hey, listen, you can listen to any kind of music you want, but just remember that there's momentum in music. And have you ever noticed that like certain times of the day, they play certain types of music on the radio and stuff? Like at night, it's real sappy stuff and, my girlfriend left me, that kind of stuff. It's like heartache and heartbreak and then during the day, they play more upbeat, fun stuff, pop and everything. But I think you have to realize that the person that created that music and the singer and the artist, the energy is in everything. And so if that person is not aligned when they're creating that music, you can really tell it because you can feel that energy. Like if you're becoming awakened, you can recognize, oh, that sounds so heartbreaking, that song. And it's because that artist has put that energy and what they were feeling, their vibrational frequency, into that song, and you can never get rid of it. So if you notice that your music taste are changing, or you're into more soothing things, like I'm into jazz and just very like Victorian era kind of music, because I think it's beautiful and it flows and it makes me feel happy inside. Number 3 is that you desire to seek all sorts of information. Like, I've always been very, very much a reader. I enjoy psychology. I have schooling in psychology and everything. And I've always loved learning. I'm like an never-ending learner. Like, I'm just always a learner. And so I think that's one of the things you recognize, is that you have this thirst for knowledge, and you want to know all the mysteries of the universe and things like that. And so I think that's number 3. Number four is that you realize that you don't fit in. And I think that as a young girl, I always thought that I didn't fit in because I had red hair and freckles and very fair skin, and I was a very peculiar child. And so that's why in the beginning, when I was young, I thought that I didn't fit in, because I wanted to wear dresses all the time. I wanted my aunt to sew me all kinds of like heirloom clothes, even when I was a young girl, like 3rd grade, 2nd grade. If you ask my mother to this day, she always says, oh, Raquel was always in a skirt or a dress. And I just loved it. And I always got ridiculed for that too. It's so funny how children can be so naughty, but even adults too, actually, because it was like, why don't you want to dress stylish like we do like in high school and stuff? And eventually I became trained out of that through conditioning and belief systems and stuff. But I do believe that originally when children come to the earth, they're so aligned with their inner being that's where their truth, their inner being, their soul, and why it resonates so much, and why kids so much of the time feel alienated and feel like they don't fit in, because they are in more alignment than the normal adult. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's what it is. So just realize that you're not going to fit in, and use it as just, it's a gift, and instead of feeling like alienated or like you're so alone or whatever. And I know that's kind of tough at times, especially like when I go out into the outer world, you know what I mean? Like I'm wearing all my primitive, 1800-year-old clothes and stuff. And like, you'll get looks and stuff like, it's not the norm. I get it. But as long as you can own your stuff and feel confident and be super happy, like that resonates with people. And so it overcomes, sorry about that. It overshadows the fact that, you're an awakened person living in this world, and you might not have, you might not fit in as much as other people. Number 5 is you are very inquisitive. Now, I've always been a very inquisitive little girl. Even when I was little, I was very inquisitive. And even to this day, there will still little rumblings I'll hear, like somebody maybe in my family might make the comment like, don't you ever get tired, Raquel? You're kind of exhausting sometimes, Raquel, because you talk so much. And I remember even when I started doing YouTube videos, like I was just like, people were saying like, you have all these people that are telling you, on YouTube, like, do your videos this way, do your videos that way. And I remember I would always have like 25 minutes, 30-minute videos. And, they were like, you need to cut that down to 6 minutes. Like, nobody's going to want to listen to you ramble that long. And I had that from numerous people. And I'm just like, okay, so for a certain amount of time I did, but I felt like, this isn't me. This isn't who I am. This is not me. I can't talk in 6 minutes. Like, I'm barely getting out of a sentence in 6 minutes. You know me, you guys. I'm a rambler. And so you just finally have to realize you've got to find your own groove and your own niche, and really own it, and just be positive and confident in yourself, and know that, you know what, you're so intrinsically unique and so perfect, the exact way that you are. And so what you think and how you behave and what you believe in is very, very crafted towards you as an individual. And so you have to be so confident in who you are. And so, you know what? I said, you know what? I'm not going to do videos the way that everybody else does them. I'm just not going to do it. And, you know, and I know that the people that feel inclined to feel my energy across the computer, you know, across the internet, and YouTube will find my channel, because I really believe that energy is everything. And so it is true that I think that, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. So it kind of sounds cliche, but it really is true, actually. Number six is you start to question the things that you put into your body. Now, I know that there's a lot of people, like, especially awakened people, there's a lot of awakened people that actually like smoke pot, and I'm not here to say anything about it, you know. It's not for me, just because I feel like, you know, you might have a sense of an elevated frequency when you smoke weed, but you also lack in clarity because you're so elevated that it's a contradiction kind of in your psyche, if that makes any sense. And so I'm more after clarity, because I like to have clarity in my life. But kudos to anybody that wants to do it, you know. Anyway, so my whole point is that you start to question what you have in your diet. Now, before my awakening, probably 8 or 9 years ago, the reason that I became a vegetarian was because my daughter had this school project, and she had to watch. I don't know if she had to watch it or it was something, but she ended up calling me into the office, and it was a video she was watching of a slaughterhouse for cows. And I completely lost my mind. I was bawling in a heap for 2 hours. I could not get over it. Like, I couldn't even finish it. I don't recommend watching any of that kind of stuff, because that's really not a good, like, I just can't get that stuff out of my brain. But like I said, I just, I think that it's a normal thing for somebody that's awakened to want to start because you want to start knocking the walls down on everything, which means externally, internally especially. And so you start to break down everything. I mean, it's kind of torturous in a way, because you've got to be cut out for this, because when you're going through your transformational journey, you know, you're breaking down all these barriers and all these walls, and you're like exposing everything of yourself. And so what happens is you start to question everything. You question everything that you eat. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And I know that that's a fact, because I've talked and spoken to so many of my friends that are awakened, and they actually have went through the same thing. So I know it's a very normal thing to do. And so that is why I became a vegetarian. Now, I haven't ever been able to do the vegan thing yet, but you know, and there will be times, you know, this is a no judgment zone, but there have been times that even in the past 2 years, I think I've started to eat meat a little bit more. And it's just been a lack of just being diligent, you know, so to speak. But I try to mostly stay away from meat, just because I don't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Like, it feels too heavy on me. And also, you know, I've gained a couple of pounds, and I don't know if that's, you know, I'm transitioning again through these more transformational, you know, my journey, and that's just where I'm at. So anyway, that is number 6. I believe that was number 6. Was it number 6, you guys? Okay, so number 7 is you start to feel alone. Do you ever feel that way? Like, if you're on your own awakening? I remember in the very beginning, it was really, really hard for me, because everybody started pulling away, and it was just like all of a sudden, like, can't be there for you. Like, they're not physically calling me up and saying that, but they were just very unavailable. Do you know what I mean? Like, not inviting you along on things, just, you know, you don't have anything in common with them anymore. And you start to realize, like, I didn't take it personal. I mean, in the beginning, I guess that's a lie. You know what? I did kind of take it personal because I felt really alienated as it was. And I really felt, you know, is that a word? Discluded? Like not included in so many things. And so then you start to, like, once you start breaking down all of those belief systems and everything, you start to realize, like, the kind of people that are on their own path, and like it's nothing personal. And so you just have to remember that you're never alone, and that it is going to be lonelier at the top. You know, they always say that. It's like there's some quote or something that, but it is lonely at the top, and that's because the masses are not awakened yet. And so it's not that we're better than them or anything like that. It's just that you have to realize that you'll find your tribe. You know, that's number 8 too, is that you will find the people that you click with, and you will recognize, like, your energy will attract those kind of people. Now it will be probably a more selective, smaller group of people, because there's not as many aligned people. Like, the majority of people are, well, I'm not going to label people, but anyway, just realize that on your journey that you will find the people that are attracted to you, and they will come and they will want to swim along with you on your journey as well. And the other people, you know, they'll just go their own ways, and you'll realize that it's nothing. Maybe they still adore you and love you, but they're just on a different path than you. So you can't take that personal, you know. And just remember, you're not alone. There are a lot of people going through your not exact experience, but they're going through their own transformational tale as well. And so you can, you know, it'll be nice when you can align with those people. So it really feels good to be able to talk to people that are on the same semi kind of journey that you're on, because you feel a real resonance and a connection with them. Unlike other connections, unlike other friendships, like, it's not like the normal friendship. Like, there's a deeper sense of, like, understanding soulmate love with just people that are in our sphere with us along on this universal quest, you know. So number 9 is you find synchronization in things. And I'm sure I've talked about this, signs, symbols, and all that kind of stuff, but you know that you're becoming way, way more enlightened and on your awakening when you see signs and symbols and synchronization, you know, numbers. And like yesterday, I went to the grocery, and just as soon as I pulled out of my drive, I saw sevens. I saw 7 sevens. I saw 3 Fs. I saw it was another letter, I can't remember, like 3 3s or something like that. And then I saw 3 Lexuses. And so if you guys know my other videos, you know that I have a thing about seeing white Lexuses, and because that's a sign from the universe. But you'll see these on the clock, on, you know, digital thermometers. You'll see them on, you know, like you know, like just the other day, someone said, I said, oh my goodness, I liked her picture on Instagram, and I was the 1111th person to click that. And so, like, see, you just notice those things. And that's the other thing, is that so many times people that aren't awakened, they don't see those synchronicity in numbers and things like that. They just think it's just, you know, they don't even notice it because they're not awakened yet, you know. But we do. We notice all of that. Like, I'll see 3 like I just saw 3 cardinals sitting in the bird bath. You know, it just, like, it's always happening. And if you look for those things, the universe will say, oh, you like that? Here's some more, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more. And it's so, so beautiful. So that's another thing. So number 10, and I kind of already talked about this a little bit, but it's that you feel alone. And I guess I want to preface it, and that's like the universe saying, you know what, Raquel, repreface that, because there's so many times, especially in my particular journey, that I have felt utterly alone, completely, like really, really, really alone. And I just have to continually, and I'm going to remind you and inspire you that you are never alone, because we always have our inner being, which is source, God within us. You know, we have self, and that's all we really need. We need source, our inner being, and that's it. And so you have to remember that as long as you're in direct connection with your inner being, that you won't ever feel alone. You know, it could be just a little bit of the aftermath of old belief systems, of feeling like you're conditioned to believe that you're alone. And the only reason that you ever feel alone is because you've detached yourself from emotions that you're not willing to feel. That's the only thing alone is. So if you can really look at it, like narrow it down and just cut and dry it and go, oh, this is exactly what these emotions are telling me, Raquel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that helps you, but that always helped me when I was going through in the beginning of my journey, is that if you can understand what your emotions are telling you and what your feelings are telling you, and you can really just resonate with those feelings and understand, like, oh, this is what alone means. Okay, so what alone means is if I'm feeling super alone, that means that I've got some vibrational frequency saying, you're not connecting with your inner being, Raquel. So what are you doing? What's going on here? And then you can kind of, break it down from there, and then you know exactly what's going on. And so that's very helpful in your journey, I think, because I know it has been for me, because I still always use that tool. I'll break it down and then I'll go write about it, or I'll do a focus wheel, and I feel right straight away better. So number 11 is that you have a great internal desire to inspire the world. I think sometimes, and I've seen this along my journey, and I've never been the culprit of this, but not that I'm any better, but I'm just saying that I've seen this a lot, is that when someone begins their transformational journey, is that they want to incorporate everyone around them to follow along and get on their trail as well. You know what I mean? Like, they all want, please, join my tribe, and don't you want to have it? I mean, they try to convince you, or like semi-forcibly tell you that, you're not awakened yet, and you're this and you're that, like we're beneath them or something if we're not awakened. And so I think I've seen that a lot. But what that is it's that person that's kind of in a wobbly sense of still feeling like they have to control conditions and people, because they're not as secure within themselves right yet. And it might be that they're still new on their journey, but they don't have a lot of internal self-love. And so that's one key that you can realize, is when people are trying to forcibly, like, in a way, negotiate or convince you or persuade you to do something that they want you to do, it's because that they're not confident enough on their own to stand alone and have that internal self-love. And so what they do is they try to get you to come along because they want, it's almost like it's like a underpinnings of a fear-driven tactic that religion uses a lot. What makes more sense? One man that believes in this particular basis of a particular forum, or mass amounts of people that believe in the same kind of particular forum? People are going to be more inclined to follow those people that have a following. Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of like breaking away and going, no, maybe that's just not, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so anyway, what that is that's a fear-driven tactic, and it's also a very fear-driven, fear-based kind of belief system. I don't know if that's kind of belief system, if that helps at all. Anyway, okay, and so number 12, which is the last one, is you become very enthusiastic about life. Like, you'll get out and want to be in nature all the time. And I don't know, but I'll just speak to you from my particular journey, is that I used to be the kind of girl that took everything so serious. Like, everything was so serious to me. Like, I had to be on a set schedule, and I had to get this done, and I was very regimented. And I was that way with my family as well, my children and everybody around me. I couldn't ever relax. And I felt like, time was running out all the time. It seemed like I was always, running and still felt just exhausted mentally. But now, because I totally live on spirit and I totally live on inspiration, and life to me is just about, it's like when children, you know how children are. They're very fun-based, joyful-based. That's all they care about, is being happy and finding joy in the littlest of things. And they're just playing and just enjoying life. And that's exactly what we need to do as adults to get back to alignment along our journey. Is that I feel that way. You know, I will just pick up and go to the zoo for the day if I felt like it. You know, I just realized I started to like always want to be outside, and hey, let's go to the beach, and hey, let's do this. And it's not a big production. Whereas before, everything used to be a huge, massive production, and if it wasn't on the list, we just couldn't do it. We need to plan for it, you know. But when you're enlightened, that's what you live in, that moment of just let me find joy today. How can I make this day fun? You know, and you find fun in everything, and you realize that, you know, nothing serious is going on here. Like, really, nothing serious is going on here. It's all an illusion. So anyway, well, I hope those things inspired you, and I hope that you have a lovely day. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao.